All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. We're going to get this bad boy up and going. Hopefully, this thing is working. This is a new platform that we are essentially trying out, and so you just got to kind of bear with this whole process here. So far, can everyone see me, hear me? Can you see the screen? If you can, that'd be awesome. Just let me know. We have these little fancy little deals here where you can click on the side and do all this other stuff. And so I wanted to make sure you can hear me. So hopefully you can hear me, and hope this is working. If you can, just send me I think you should have a little box that you can text or chat with me if you can hear me. So just let me know, or shoot me a text. At least let me know if you can see my screen, hear my voice. That would be great. So I'm just going to wait till I hear somebody text me and let me know that they can see my screen, or they can they can hear my voice. And if you can't, let me know so that we can try to work this out. Okay. Hopefully this is here. Can everyone see that? Anybody? Okay, hang tight. Let's see here. Okay, can you see me now? Hope this is working. Let me see here. Sam, did you get lost connection? Let me see here. Just hang tight. All right. Well, hopefully you guys are all on here. We have more people jumping on. If you are, and if you can see my screen, that's awesome. If you can see my face in my office, that is great. And we're sending you a message on the computer. Do you see that? See them? No. Let me see here. Sam said he's sending me a message on a computer. Let me see. This thing's so fancy here. Private message, Sam. No. Okay, yep, I can hear and see the screen. Yes, perfect. That's awesome. All right, good. Thanks, Sam. All right, guys, I am so sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, well, welcome to this call, or webinar, excuse me. We're going to kick this bad boy off. I felt really pressed to do a leadership call for men, and I just really thought about what it would be like to really bring personal growth to you as a man and me, and not just in your business if you're in the marketplace, not just in ministry if you're in ministry, but also as a husband, as a father, and not just that, but a community leader, someone that wants to add value in their spheres of influence. So we're going to do this great mastermind group that we call it in John Maxwell. Many of you know that I am an independent certified coach, teacher, and speaker with John Maxwell team. And so this is John Maxwell. And so what we're doing is what we call a mastermind. We're gathering together with men who think alike, feel alike, have the same faith level, and we want to add value to you. My whole purpose in these next several weeks is to add value to you, so that you can grow. And so I hope you have a journal. I hope you have something that you can write with, and we're going to enjoy this time together. And I want to uncover some ground here. One of the things that I want to just really encourage you: be here every Sunday night. If I'm committed to this, then I want you to be committed. I want you to come with a journal, come writing notes, and most importantly, taking what you have written down and really apply them to your life, apply them to daily living. and you're going to learn some valuable tools. You're going to get some good nuggets out of this. I'm taking notes, and I've been going through it. Matter of fact, I was just teaching some folks in the Texas area this past week on some of the keys of the 15 invaluable laws of growth. And so I want you to really kind of, this is for you. I want you, don't worry about anything else. I want to pour into you as men. I want to add value to you as men of your home, men in the community, men in your faith. You're a man of valor. I hope you write that down, man of valor. Okay, so here we go. So 15 invaluable laws of growth. So the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality. Here we go. We're going to start this off. The law of intentionality. Growth just doesn't happen. You see that here? Growth just doesn't happen. Okay? So personal growth is not a natural process in most people's lives. So how do you think this building that I'm in, basically, or your house that you're in right now was built? Okay, how do you think about that? That's a question, and that's something for you to ask. It's a rhetorical question, but it is, how do you think it was built? And most people say it was put together. In what order were the parts of your house or this building where my office is was put in place? What do you think when we look at, as we get down the road down here, as we talk, what do you think how we build something? We build something by thinking, imagining, putting things in perspective. What would it look like? Every building home starts with a vision, okay? Being intentional starts with a vision first, okay, or imagination. And then it starts with, once you imagine it, then you start the progress, okay? So I want to just lay some groundwork here. If you focus on your goals, you may hit the goals. But if that doesn't guarantee you growth. So let me say that again. If you focus on goals, you may hit the goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit your growth. Excuse me. So let me say it again. That's really good, guys. So if you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit your growth. Okay, what is the difference between goals and growing? That's the thing I want to talk tonight as we talk about the law of intentionality. What is the difference between growth? What is the difference? What is the difference there? And let me back up here real quick. I want you to really get some good nuggets here. So here's the deal: the growth gap. Here's the growth gap. Okay, and I'm going to ask you real quick, we'll pause real quick here. Do you have a plan for personal growth? Do you have a plan for personal growth? And let me throw this in here since we have men of faith. Do you have a plan for spiritual growth? Two big things here, my friends. Do you have a plan for growth? And do you have a plan for personal growth and spiritual growth? Okay. Do you have a plan for that? So that's something that I want you to really focus on. Do I have a plan? And if you don't have a plan, I want to help you get a plan on both areas. Here's the gap, the growth gaps. So the assumptions. I assume that I will automatically grow. If anyone assumes he or she will automatically grow, what is the likelihood of the outcome? What is the likelihood of the outcome? How can one know if they're growing or not? How can one know if they're growing or not? How do you know? How do you measure if you're growing? You measure by putting what you've learned, especially tonight, since we're talking about the law of intentionality. You've been very intentional, okay, to be on this webinar tonight, to grow. You've been very intentional of making sure you're going to bring a journal for an expectation of growing. But what is the measure of growth? How do you measure your growth? My friends, you measure your growth by applying what you have learned. You apply what you have learned, and then you put it into practice. A common framework that I want to give you tonight that will help you do this is write this down. 3 things, and you're going to see it over and over and over. Learn it, live it, and lead it. Let me say that again. Learn it, live it, and lead it. Okay? If you put those 3 things into everyday practice, that has been intentional. Learning it, living it, and leading it. That's good. So, knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. Not knowing how to grow can be a powerful reason, a powerful reason to simply not try to grow. If one does not know how to grow, then one needs to ask these who do. This study is a great start. So if you don't know how to grow, ask the question on how to grow. Someone that didn't ask the question on how to grow, then what happens is they sit there and not grow. They miss the whole mark. They don't step into what they know, what they need to do. Okay, the timing gap. It's not the right time to begin. So the law of diminishing, which is intent. What happens the longer we wait to begin our journey? If you wait long enough to begin your journey of growing, what happens over a period of time, then you won't be intentional in doing it. Think about times that you said, man, I wanted to do this, and you don't do it. Think about times that you've promised to do something and you said, oh, I'll put it off to tomorrow. Procrastination is the thief of your growth. I hope you wrote that down. Procrastination is the thief of your growth. Okay? So let me give you some things here. List some reasons or excuses one might offer for timing of personal growth for not being right. I want you to think about that right now. Write this down, guys. Think about times that you have made excuses or making excuses, or you may have several books in your reading and you can't get through all of them. Think about a time that you have made excuse to grow. Think about times. What we're really good at sometimes is starting a webinar or something like this virtually, and we start off doing it 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden we start falling off, and then we start making excuses, and then we never complete a program. We never complete anything. I want to encourage you, and the same thing I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. I'm Clive. I'm your friend. Okay, all the pastors and all that other stuff, hats are off. I'm your friend. I'm human. And one of the biggest things that I'm fighting is making sure that I start something, that I complete something. The biggest thing that wants to rob you and I from growing is procrastination. So write down excuses. Write down what it is. Really take some time to write it down. Okay. What do you think about the idea of starting your journey even though you are scared or unprepared? What do you think about that? What goes through your mind? What do you think about? I'm unprepared. I'm not ready. Many of us, when we feel that we're not ready, or it's not timing, we don't do it. We put it off and put it off. But isn't it funny that people who do it, even when they're scared, even when they're unprepared, over a period of time, they begin to see results. My goal today is to help you see results. So let's keep moving on. The mistake gap. I'm afraid of making mistakes. We've all said that before. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Remember, growing is not always a clean and neat pursuit. Let me say that again. Growing is not always a clean and neat pursuit. Robert Schuller says this. Great Robert Schuller says this. What would you attempt if you knew you would not fail? My brothers, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Let me say that again. What would you attempt if you knew you would not fail? Think about that. Write that down. Put stars around it. What would I attempt if I knew I would not fail? What would you do, my friends, if you knew you would not fail? What would you attempt? Okay. Once we decide to grow, we must expect mistakes and welcome them as a sign that we are moving in the right direction. Let me say that one more time. That's very profound. Once we must make mistakes and welcome them as a sign that we're moving in the right direction. So sometimes we feel like we've made a mistake and we feel like we're failed. No, we give up quickly. No, you're moving in the right direction. Okay, you're moving in the right direction. Let me give you some more gaps. The perfectionist gap. I have to find the best way before I start. I have to find the best way before I start. I have to find the best way. We've all said that. The people who are very perfectionists, that's a common thing they say all the time. Where the mistake gap say, or the perfectionist gap says, I can't move out of fear of making a mistake. The perfectionist gap says, I will move only when I have the perfect plan. I will only move when I have the perfect plan. What am I telling you? Being intentional. Keep this in mind, being intentional. Okay? Both of these things that where we call the mistake gap and the perfectionist gap, both of them above gaps are simply excuses for not starting at all. Both of them are major excuses, especially as men in our home or in our spheres of influence. We make excuses on certain areas. Sometimes you find men who make excuses in finding a job or doing something. Sometimes you find men who make excuses in building their family, making sure they building up their marriage. Here's the deal, my friends. What excuses are you making? Ask yourself the questions, what excuses are you making, and deal with those excuses. Stop making excuses, because here's the deal. Just as bad, because I really believe a lot of you are on here because you want to grow. You got on this mastermind group, this 15 Valuable Laws of Growth, because you want to grow. I want to grow. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better business owner. I want to be a better community leader. Here's the deal. We want to grow. And I want to encourage you that if you take the step, the plunge, and diminish all these gaps and diminish really what it is huge excuse gaps. If you get rid of them and be intentional, yes, it's going to cause you being risk. Men, we're not risk takers a lot. Women, our spouses, if you're on this call, this webinar, you're married, they are risk takers. But men, we have to have everything in place, and everything has to be on our time. And we have to be not like that anymore. All of this is helping you. The best plans for growing happens as we grow, not before we grow. Let me say that again. The best plans for growing happens as we grow, not before we grow. And then we have the inspiration gap. The inspiration gap says, I don't feel like doing it. How many times have you said that? I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like spending time. I don't feel like playing ball with my son. I don't feel like talking to that new person has a business owner. I don't feel like growing my business. I don't feel it. How many have said that multiple times? Out of all these gaps, this is the one that requires a simple decision. Will I do it or not? Will I do it or not? The major difference between these who do it and these who don't do it is these who do it, do it. That's a mouthful, and I hope you grab that this evening. Is that, will I do it or not? The major difference between these who do it and these who don't do it and these who do it, do it. Become the person to do it. Become the man. Choose tonight, my friends, to be that husband, to be that father, to be that business leader, to do it. And it really starts just doing it. It starts, later on we're going to talk about the law of environment. But choose to do it. Yes, it's going to cause some risk taking. Yes, it's going to cause some derailment. But remember, derailment is a progress or a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Okay? So the inspiration gap. Feelings are unreliable. Actions will make the difference. Feelings are unreliable, but actions will make the difference. Here's a great truth. You are more likely to act yourself into it as a feeling than feel yourself into the action. You are more likely to act yourself into a feeling than feeling yourself into an action. Okay. Hope this is good stuff tonight. Man, this is good. Then well, you still have to understand that I'm feeling my way through this. We got to understand that what excuses, eliminate the excuses. Excuses keep you and I from growing. Excuses keeps me from growing. Here's the other thing. We say that we're too busy. We say that we got our plates full. We say that we have our calendars booked. Here's the deal. If your calendar is full, ask yourself the question, is it keeping me from raising my lid of growth so that I can be a leader in my home? The whole point why I'm doing this webinar, because I thought it was very important for men right now, is that I want you to have the expectation, you and I to have the expectation that I must do it. I must be what the designer and maker has called me to be. I must do it. I must find myself growing in the Word of God, growing as a leader, and having, what books are you reading right now that's adding value to you? I hope this is good. Others are better than I. We say that again, the comparison gap. Others are, and guys, we're so good, we're so competitive. Can I be very frank with you? We have insecurity. We have not dealt with the insecurity. We are fearful and dealing with the insecurity, because insecurity brings the comparison gap, and the comparison gap says others are better than I. Can I tell you that is false? Get that out of your spirit. Get that out of your mind. Here's the deal. You are just as well as powerful as anybody else. Here are two truths about that. There is always someone better. Okay? You're better than somebody else. Someone's might be thinking the same thing you're thinking, but you are better than somebody else. Rejoice for the better ones, for you will learn from these out in front of you. Rejoice for the better ones, for you will learn from these out in front of you. There are people that are out in front of you. Excuse me, I had to get a drink there. There are people out in front of you, and all that shows you and I is that they've been seasoned and they've been doing it a little bit longer. Get out of the place of comparison. Get out of that place. Someone may be looking to you as the better. Who them the way. Show them the way. Lead them the way. Someone may be looking to you as the better. And then lastly, the other gap is the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Okay? I thought it would be easier than this. Lay out this paradigm. Let me share with you. This is a great paradigm shift here for you. What is lucky is usually not. What is lucky is usually not. Preparation growth plus attitude plus opportunity plus action. Doing something about it equals luck. Let me say that again. Preparation, which is growth, plus attitude plus opportunity plus action. Doing something about it equals luck. If Rome was not built in one day, how long are you willing to give yourself to grow? How long are you willing to give yourself to grow? Brothers, I want to encourage you that we got to grow. Our wives want us to grow. That is their cry. That is their prayer. That is their desire. If you're leading a team of people, if you're leading in a business, we're all leaders in a business here called Avocare. And if you're in that area, here's the deal, my friends. You have to grow. People want to follow somebody and know, because they follow you because they know where you're going. There is a swagger that comes about a man that calls, that drives people to really sense and feel that you are confident in knowing where you're going. And you've heard that before. Growing starts with preparation. Growing starts with preparation. This study is part of the preparation. This book is part of the preparation. Okay, look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that. I want you to really grab hold of that. If Rome wasn't built in one day, how long are you willing to give yourself? How long are you willing to give yourself? Here's what I like to encourage people sometimes. Become a life learner. Become a life learner. Become a life learner. To transition into intentional growth, here it is. Intentional growth. See that picture right there, intentional growth. Do you have a plan? Let me go back to it. Do you have a plan for growth? Do you have a plan for growth? Where do you want to go in life? Ask yourself that question. There's some big questions here. Where do you want to go in life? Write that down right now. I'm going to leave this here on the screen. Where do you want to go in life? Okay. What direction do you want to go? What's the furthest you can imagine going? And how long will it take you? How long will it take you? You know, one of the biggest things is sometimes as men that we sometimes don't put down goals. We don't put down a vision. Sometimes our spouse have to poke and pry us and woo us into sitting down with them and putting those things together. But today you're the leader of that home. And I know I'm speaking to some folks that are veterans and have been married longer than I have, and others may be singing to the choir, but I want to encourage you. My prayer is that this will take root, that this webinar for the next several weeks will take root in your life, and that you would go somewhere, that you will want to go where do you want to go in life? That you ask yourself that question, where do I want to go in life? What direction do I want to go in? What's the furthest can I imagine going? How long will it take me? Okay? Not having all the answers to these questions immediately is normal, but ask them and keep exploring them daily. Let me say it again. Not having the answers to these questions immediately is normal, but ask them and keep exploring them daily. This is something I want you to explore daily. This is not going to be overnight. This is something that you're going to have to explore daily. Look at your watch right now and tell me when Sunday strikes. Look at your watch right now and tell me when Sunday strikes. Because we all say that. Do it now. We always say that. No, not reality. Do it now. Seriously, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for in growing? What are you waiting for growing spiritually as a man in your home? Okay, what are you waiting for? What book are you reading in the Word of God? What excuses? If you have a different translation, get a different translation in the Word of God. Find something so that you can grow spiritually. Find something so that you can grow in personal growth. Okay? Get a life coach. We're going to talk about that later on. But my friends, find something and do it now. Find a book to read and grow in that book. Be intentional. Being intentional, taking your journal with you. My journal goes everywhere I travel. I was listening. Matter of fact, I was listening to Gateway Church on the way over to my office, and Pastor Robert was talking about some things that really stuck out to me, and I just kept, when something really sticks out to me, I would say it over and over and over in my mind so that I can keep remembering. As soon as I got to my office, before I got everything set up here, I wrote it down, and I wanted to, and I'm going to go back and look it up, okay? Because it's important to me. It's in my journal. It's important to me. Take your journal everywhere you go, okay? Now is the best time to start anywhere. Now is the time to start reading the book of Acts. Now is the time to start reading a John Maxwell book or a leadership book. And here's the deal. Here's the deal that just came, some great revelation. All throughout Scripture, you'll find that it was talked about leadership more than ever. Jesus was a leader. And a lot of us here are believers on this call. All of us, matter of fact, are believers on this webinar. And so it's in my DNA to begin to talk about that area. It's to say, hey, you know what? I need to really be leading my family. Are you leading your family in prayer? Are you gathering your kids around, your wife around, and are you praying with them? That's taking leadership, my brothers. That's been intentional in your home. The Bible declares, as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord, over in Joshua. The Bible says also in Deuteronomy, train up a child in the way they should go, that when they get older, they will not depart their faith. Are you giving your kids scriptures to memorize? Taking the lead in your home. Because here's the deal, when you start growing as a husband and as a father, personal growth and spiritual growth, I can guarantee you all day long, your family will start growing and your business will start growing. It will take place. Oh, help me here, somebody. I hope this is good. Hope this is helping you. So let me keep going. The facts, face the fears, the fear factor. Fear of failure. This is what, guys, we have this. This is unknown. This is hidden. And I forgot to tell you that I'm going to be just very frank a lot with here. So I hope I have your permission. Shoot me a text to say, Clyde, you got my permission to be very frank and honest. My phone number is 503-943-9795 if you don't have that number. But I just want your permission for the rest of the couple of weeks here that we're on this call or this webinar. But I want to be just be real frank with you. And this is with some things that what I have struggled with and over the years and sometimes comes up. And I want to tell you that we are guys, and guys, we don't like to face fear. We are very fearful men, and fear of failure is the key thing that hits our hearts. We are so fearful as men that we really take a step outside our box. It's hard for us to step outside that box. It's hard for us to believe. We have to see it before we do it. And there's in the word, it says, faith without works is dead. We walk by faith and not by sight. And here's facing the fear of failure. The other one is fear of tradition, security for the unknown, trading security for the unknown. Here we go. There's somebody texting me. Amen. I asked some people to text me. And I thank you for that one. Thank you. You have my permission. Thank you for that. I appreciate that one. Let me know if I got your permission, because I just want to help you. Being overextended on resources, time, money, and energy. That's another fear that comes up. Fear what others think. Guys, we're so strong in that area. We have fearful what other people are going to think about us. For us growing, for us being leaders, for us taking care of our home, for us praying, for us being that person. We have that fear that comes inside. Let me tell you, you guys, we got to break past that. I have to break past. I'm continually breaking past that. What other people think about me? I will tell you how to deal with insecurity these last several weeks and months leading into this. Let me tell you, Guys, we have to begin to see ourselves as leaders. Fear is not from him. Fear comes from the enemy, and that is the growth of fear. Let me tell you something. Break past that. Choose today that you're going to grow, that you're going to take back your family. Choose to be that leader in your home. Choose to say fear is not going to grip my heart anymore. Choose to say fear is not of God, because my God has not given me a spirit of fear, but love and a sound mind. Break that fear and break that fear barrier and say, I want to grow as a leader. I want to have deposit leadership in my family. I want to deposit leadership in my business. I want to deposit leadership in my community. I want to deposit leadership even when I'm at the gym. That is leadership, my friends. That's part of leadership. I hope this is helping you. I hope this is good, because it's good to me. It is 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 good, 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 good. It is good. There we go. And so, fear that success will push others away. Where I had that. I was very fearful coming back to Albuquerque that I will push people away if I gained success. And I had to, and I finally broke through that. Because here's the deal. If I help people win in their life, in their business, in their family, then I will always get what I want. That spoke volumes to me. That broke me free. Okay? Now ask yourself, which emotion is stronger? The desire to change and grow, or one of these fears? What one that you struggle with? What emotion is stronger for you? Which one? Because that very one that you're struggling with, once you break it, leadership is unwound and people will begin to see it. Your family will see it first. Let me tell you, your wife is your best critic. Your wife is your best critic, your best supporter, your best leadership, your best cheerleader. She wants her man to lead, but she wants a man that leads that's God-fearing, that has leadership all over them. Okay, keep going here. Now ask yourself these questions. I'm sorry, you should see them. I'm a little behind on the there. I'll leave that up for a sec. Probably hear me drinking water. Okay. And now here's the deal. Here's another thing I want to show you. Rate yourself on this chart. And we say place an X to show where you can see yourself right now on each of these life journeys here. Where, accidental growth, intentional growth. Plans to start tomorrow. Insist on growing now. Wait for growth to come. Take responsibility to grow. Learns only from mistakes. Learns before mistakes. Depend on good luck. Relies on hard work. Quit early and often. Preserve long and hard. You see the list just goes on. Which one? Which one? If you have your phone, you can take a phone snap of this and write that down later on. I'll leave it up for a second. You can take a photo of that if you need to. Oh, okay. Sorry. Huh, interesting. Let me see here. Hey, guys. Okay, you have not been seeing the whole slides. Let me see what's going on here. Can you see the slides now? Can you see the slides now? Oh, you've been seeing my beautiful face. Interesting. Told you this is a new platform we got going on here. Yeah, it's all good. So you can see it. That's what I wanted to know. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Sam. Okay. So take a shadow of that. I hope you. I'm sorry you guys didn't get a chance to see those slides, and I didn't share it. So sorry about that. So I'll go back up here. You can scroll through there. See, there I am. I'll just take a quick sec here. The law of intentionality. Growth just doesn't happen. Do you have a plan to grow? Okay. Just recap real quick. All right. All right. And then here's the assumption gaps. So, I mean, we'll make sure we have this up plan going next time for sure. So, but here's what I really want you to see right here, and you can take a screenshot if you have your phone. And but now ask yourself the question: which emotion is stronger, the desire to change and to grow, or one of these fears? Which one is a fear for you? Which one do you struggle with? As I was just talking about earlier, which one is struggling inside of you? What emotion is deep within inside of you? Okay, answer that question. And then if you want to take a screenshot of that, you certainly may welcome to do that. I'll leave that up for a sec, but rate yourself. Put yourself in the shoes here. Rate yourself right now, and begin so that you can see yourself in this flow here. See yourself. Okay, what area are you? What area do you need that you want? I want you on the been intentional. Been intentional on growing. Let's keep going. Okay, that's the law of awareness. Okay, let me just keep it right there, and we're going to end with this. When you live this law, you will show others the way, and they empower them to learn it and live it. Okay, so I want to recap here tonight. And I want you to ask yourself, which one of these gaps that I presented tonight has the greatest challenge for you? The assumption gap. The assumption gap. Let me go back and so that you can see them. We're just recapping. Here's the assumption gap. I assume I will automatically grow. And we're talking about what is the greatest challenge for you right now. And I want you to, it may be a couple of them. It may be one. Okay, but that one is still keeping you from growing. Okay, so I assume I will grow. The knowledge gap, I don't know how to grow. Okay, he says go back to the slide. Okay, let me see here. Let me go back here. This one, okay. Sorry, there it is. Sorry, I'm moving a little bit fast. I'll stay right there for a sec. And if you want to take a screenshot with your phone, you may do so that you can write it down later. Sorry, just trying to see here. Okay, I'm going to move on, and I can always go back to this here in a sec. But I wanted to talk about the gaps here. Okay, the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. The timing gap. It's not the right time to grow. The mistake gap. I am afraid of making mistakes. Okay, growth gaps, perfection gaps. I have to find the best way before I start. The inspiration gap. I don't feel like growing. The comparison gap. Others are better than I. And then the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Okay, so I'm just wrapping this up. you want to really grow, take some time to write out a growth plan to address each area above. Take some time to write out a growth plan, my friends. Take time to do that today. Look at your calendar for the next year. Schedule some specific time and focus growth plans. If you think you don't have time to schedule something else, imagine what the last year could have looked like if you had scheduled a plan for growing. Remember, growing is not a goal, but a lifelong process that must start with being intentional. While scheduling growth time may seem simple, it is the beginning of action and intention. So next week we'll look at the law of awareness, the law of awareness, and I want you to really know that you can to really um, go through this area and let me come back here. I want you to really know that you can grow. You know, growing is a everyday life. I try to focus on growing every day. I try to every day add value to somebody. I read multiple books. You know, I was taking time. I was just doing some ministry stuff before this call, and I took some time to, as I was driving here to my office, to listen to some podcasts for personal growth, for spiritual growth, enrichment, to feed my spirit. You've got to find time to grow. Have things that you access, the ability, okay? While we have some time, let me do this. So hopefully this will work. So stay tuned. Bear with me. I'm just still learning this new system here. Just hang tight. Let me see here. You may see here. Let me see if this will work. Hang tight, guys. Hopefully you've probably seen everything. Hang tight. Okay. Hang tight. Just doing something here. I think this will add a little bit of value to you more. If I can get this to work. Let me see here. Okay, let me see if this is going to work. Okay, hang tight. Can you guys see this video? If I play this video?
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to talk to you about something that I've been passionate about for 40 years, and that is personal growth. So if you have your notes, let's get ready, because there's nothing that I can deposit in your life.
You guys probably can't see that. So sorry about that, brothers.
This is a book that I decided to write at 3:30 in the morning a few months ago.
Maybe you can hear that.
I can tell you.
Let me know if you can hear that. Can someone text me? Let me know if they hear that.
I was on a golf course and playing golf with some friends of mine when one of my friends said, "John, I just read a book about the laws of marketing." And he began to talk to me about the laws of marketing as we're playing the golf course that day. I'm saying to myself, "Oh my goodness, I ought to write a book on the laws of growth." And that's where the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Growth was kind of birthed. I was in the Marriott Hotel one morning waiting on Margaret. We were down in Florida. We were going to go just have some fun for a while. So I was just down there waiting on her, and I had my legal pad, and all of a sudden it hit me to write the book, Talent is Never Enough. Well, on 3:30 in the morning, I awakened, not having thought of personal growth at all as far as writing a book, although it's been something I've done for many, many years. At 3:30 in the morning, I woke up and I just immediately put on my robe, and I understood what I was to do. I needed to go write a book on personal growth, and I went down to my office, and from about 4 in the morning till about noon, I sat down and I worked on the laws of personal growth, and literally by about noon, I had written them out in a rough form of the laws that I thought that I would want to write on. And this is out of my heart. This is a book that I've wanted to write for a long time because it's been inside of me, but it was time. The timing wasn't until now.
If you can't see it, just listen to him.
There's a lot of material, and I have a desire for you to get everything that you need to grow. But before we get started, look at the person you're seated beside and say, take good notes because you need to really start growing. Go ahead and tell them that, would you? And let me ask you, how many of you just raise your hand and say, I'm so glad you're teaching this because the person beside me really needs. Oh, isn't that good? Okay, good. Aren't you glad for them? Aren't you glad for them that we're here? Okay. There are two questions that every leader should ask. Question number one is, what am I doing to develop myself? Question number two is, what am I doing to develop others? And the first question is truly the first question, what am I doing to develop myself? And when I began my personal growth life, I never thought about developing others. I just thought about getting better myself. It was only after I began to grow and see what that growth was doing for me that I thought, oh, I need to turn this around and I need to teach other people how to grow also. But how am I developing myself? What am I doing to grow me? And what am I doing to grow you? Those are the two questions for every leader. And the laws of growth that I'm going to teach you now are laws that I have found that have worked for me for 40 years. So when people come to me and they say, John, could you give me a personal growth plan? I could do better than give you a personal growth plan. I can teach you the laws of personal growth. And if you understand them and you begin to apply them to your life, those laws will give you not only the plan that you should have for personal growth, but they will put you on a pattern of growth that you'll never get off of. You see, when I started my personal growth plan, I thought I would probably do it for 6 months, and like everything else, I would be done with that, and I would go do something else. What I didn't realize is when I began to really grow and personally change, that it was going to be something that was so wonderful in my life and so helpful to me that it was going to be something I never stopped. That personal growth just doesn't stop once you understand it. So I'm going to put you on a journey through this lesson today for some of you that I will promise you 10, 15, 18, 20 years from now, you're going to look back and say, oh my goodness, look how I've grown. And it all started when I began to understand the laws of personal growth. Law number one, the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality just simply says growth doesn't just happen. If you're going to grow, if I'm going to grow, we're going to grow on purpose. I've told this story for many, many years in Lancaster, Ohio in 1972 at the Holiday Inn. I'm having breakfast with a guy named Kurt Kampmeyer. And Kurt is talking to me about growth, and he asked me this question. He said, John, do you have a plan for personal growth? I had no plan for personal growth. Just a few years out of college, had my degree, enjoying my ministry. Didn't understand I was to have a plan for personal growth, but I was a young leader. And one of the mistakes I made as a young leader is I thought that I always had to have answers. So therefore, I was a Mr. Answer Man. I many times didn't know the right answer, but I had answers because I thought leaders were confident and bold and giving direction. And so when Kurt said, John, do you have a personal growth plan? I immediately I didn't have a plan at all, but I began to tell him how hard I worked and what my schedule was and what I did every day. And I probably talked for 10, 12 minutes, and I was kind of like a plane circling a field trying to come in for a landing. You know, I just kept circling. I wasn't going anywhere, but I needed to land this thing. And finally, I just kind of ran out of things to say and kind of ran out of gas. So I landed my little plane. And as soon as I stopped talking, he looked at me and he smiled and he said, you don't have a plan, do you? And I said, no, I don't have a plan. No, I don't have a plan. Then he said the words that just changed my life. He said, John, growth is not an automatic process. If you're going to grow, you have to grow on purpose. That's why the law of intentionality is the first law of personal growth. No one ever grew by accident. Now we may get older by accident, by just hanging around, but we don't get better. And there's a difference between getting older and getting better. And people that are intentional in their growth, they immediately begin to see the benefits of it. And I started my journey. I began to say, okay, how am I going to grow myself? Because I caught it that day. There is a quote by James Allen that is in your notes, and this is an important quote to me because as a kid, I was in the 7th grade when I read this book for the very first time, As a Man Thinketh. James Allen said, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. That's a true statement. You walk to the average person on the street right now, and they're anxious to get rid of their problems, get rid of their stress, fix all the things in their life. But if you talk to them about, I'll tell you what, let's do to get all that accomplished. Let's fix you. Let's change you. Let's grow you. I promise you, they back away from that real quick. They want their surroundings and their circumstances to change, but they don't understand that their core of everything has to be them, and the change has to begin with them. The greatest gap in the world is the space between knowing and doing. That's why the law of intentionality is so huge. Let me give you some of the growth gaps that I've discovered in my own life. You'll discover them too as you start taking this journey. One is the assumption gap. The assumption gap, we've already talked about it. I assume I will grow automatically. I just assume that if I go to work every day and I do my job, I just assume that I'll grow automatically. I was sitting having lunch one day with John Kotter, who's the prof out of Harvard that's written some wonderful books on change. John looked at me. It was when I think I was writing the book Today Matters, and I was kind of walking him through. We always, when we get together, we talk about books. And he said this statement to me. He said, John, he said, most people accept their lives. They don't lead their lives. I thought how true that is. Most people get up and they don't have a plan for their life. They're not intentional in what they're doing. They basically look at their schedule and say, I wonder what's going to happen to me today. The assumption gap. I assume I will grow automatically. Wrong assumption, big gap. Number 2, the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. A lot of people don't grow because they don't know how. You see, when we started in kindergarten, went through elementary, junior high, high school, and college, guess what? We had curriculum in front of us. We had a road to run on. We had systems. I mean, it was just, you do this next, you do this next, and all of a sudden we got our degrees, etc., diplomas, and now we're out in life, and nobody's got a curriculum for us. Nobody has something set up for us, and all of a sudden we say, okay, if I'm going to keep growing, what do I do? In fact, after Kurt Kampmeyer shared with me that I didn't have a plan for personal growth, which I knew I didn't, for the next 6 months, I went to all the friends and everybody I knew, and I asked them the same question. I said, do you have a plan for personal growth? In other words, I'm looking for somebody that's intentional. I'm looking for somebody that's growing, because if they have a plan, I'm going to ask them what it is so they can help me get my plan going and help me get going. So I'm looking for somebody to help me and jumpstart me in growth. So I asked for 6 months, do you have a plan for growth? If I ask one person, I asked 500 people, do you have a plan for personal growth? Didn't find one person that had a plan for personal growth. Isn't it amazing? Something so important to our lives, but we're not intentional in it. I finally, through Success Motivational Institute, SMI, out of Waco, Texas, I finally found a kit that was on personal growth. And I bought it. It cost $799. That was 1 month of my salary back then. $799. My wife Margaret and I had to sit down and plan out 6 months of how we were going to pay for a $799 kit. We didn't have any money. We were just starting out. We were poor. And I never will forget when I got that kit, and that kit helped me. It jump-started me because it showed me what to do, and it had some areas like discipline and accountability, things I needed to really grow in, and it informed it for me, and it got me started. But the assumption gap is huge. I just assume I'll grow, but the knowledge gap is also there. That's why this kit, that's why this teaching, that's why the book, so that you'll kind of know how to grow. Number 3 is the timing gap. Well, it's just not the right time to begin. I love the law of diminishing intent. The law of diminishing intent just says the longer you wait to do something you should do now, greater the odds that you will never do it. That's a fact. Number 4 is the mistake gap. So people, they don't get started growing because they're afraid of making mistakes. I was in that area. I did not want to make mistakes. I was very unsure how to grow, and I didn't have a plan. And so I found myself very hesitant. And what's interesting is, right at the time when I was finding myself in this timing gap, I picked up a book by Bob Schuller, and he asked a question in this book that really absolutely got me through this hump. And the question he asked was, what would you attempt if you knew you wouldn't fail? And I remember getting my legal pad out and thinking of all the things I wanted to do, but I hadn't attempt because I was afraid that I might fail. And it got to be a pretty long list. And all of a sudden I realized my problem wasn't my goals. My problem was my fear of failure. And the moment that I said, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? I said, I would be doing every one of these. I'd be taking a shot. I'd be swinging the bat. If I thought I was going to get a hit every time, I'd be up there just swinging away. Come on, give me the ball, pitcher, give me the ball. I could hardly wait to swing. If I just felt it was failure that was keeping me from going forward. In fact, that was the seed. Remember I talked to you about seeds for books. It was when I read that the seed of my book, Failing Forward, began to be birthed within me. And when I wrote the book, Failing Forward, he at that time had become a personal friend. I called him on the phone, and I flew out, and I had dinner one night with him and his wife, Arvella. And I brought the Failing Forward book with me, the first one, and I handed it to him and signed it to him. And I told him how he had inspired me to write the book. And I've got a picture with him and me with the book, him holding up the book. It's kind of a beautiful little keepsake for myself. But he was the first one to help me get through this timing gap by addressing failure. And I just stopped long enough to ask you the question, if you knew you wouldn't fail, what is it that you haven't started that you jump in immediately and begin? Finally, is the inspiration gap. That's just where a person says, I just don't feel like it. I just, you know what? Wow, I can't get myself inspired to do it. How many of you have ever procrastinated doing something because you just didn't feel like it? Could I see your hand? Yeah, absolutely. Today. Okay. We've all been there, have we not? Huh? We've all been there. And the difference between a winner and a whiner is very simple. A whiner wants to feel good before they do something. And a winner does something and then feels good. The winner understands that the right emotions follow the right actions. Always have, always will. But emotions will never stimulate you for action, but right action will always give you the return of right emotions. The law of intentionality. If I could have one wish before I go in and teach the other 14 laws, if I could have one wish for you here today, for you that are going through this resource right now and learning how to grow yourself, if I could have one wish for you, here's what it would be. And that is that right now in your heart, you would settle it in your mind that from this day forward, you're going to grow yourself. You're not going to wait on somebody else to grow you. You're not going to expect your job to kind of grow you or your best friends to kind of pick you up and grow you, that you were going to initiate and you were going to be very aware of the fact that you were going to grow yourself and that you would make that commitment and resolve.
All right, my friends. I know a lot of you are asking, who is this and where is this at? I just put a web link up there. You can get a lot of stuff on there, but that's our website. A lot of the stuff, what you're getting is private, which you have to be a certified speaker trainer with John Maxwell. That's why you're able to get what you're getting. You can't find too much on YouTube. But I just wanted to encourage you. I thought that would be a good ending tonight for you, is to really hear from John in this area of training. And I may throw some of those on down the road. But let me tell you, it is such a great privilege for me just sharing with you tonight. I hope you all have gotten something out of tonight as we talked about the law of attention, been intentional. Choose this week to be intentional, my friends. Choose to be intentional in your personal growth. Choose to be intentional in your spiritual growth. Choose to be intentional and carving out some time to grow. Spend time reading a book. Schedule that time, my friends, both. And next week, we'll be on here, the same time, same place. If you know some other guys that would like to join, please give them this link, and we will have this scheduled again. I am looking forward to spending more time with you. I'm excited for all your growth. I'm excited for your spiritual growth. I'm excited for your personal growth, and I'm just really excited for you. Also, we're going to be sharing some exciting news down the road here. With just even growing. If we know a lot of you are in the marketplace, and one of my passions is to minister to folks in the marketplace, but really adding value, adding biblical principles, and how to apply biblical principles to your business. You may not necessarily have to say about Jesus in the marketplace, but being that adding value, how to operate your business in God's way. And how many would love to know more about that? You guys got the hang of the chat there, but how many would love to be part of something? We're going to be starting this thing called Truth at Work, and it's going to be a virtual thing like this. And for those that live local, we'll meet as well. But I just feel really compelled in my spirit to do something in the marketplace. I found something. A good friend of mine, Brandon, he may be on here. He introduced it to me, and I've been talking with these guys out of Indiana that has really, that's what they do. And so I'm really excited about that. How many would love to really let God be the center of your business and grow your business based on biblical principles, and still being true to the business model of Avocare or your gym, or just business, and just really been able to get some brothers to pray with you, and people pray for you in your business. So I'm really excited about that. So if you would like to know more about that, please just let me know. You can shoot me a text, shoot me an email at lewisministry@gmail.com, or you can send it through here right now. But we're going to launch that off. It is, I will tell you, it is something that you're going to really want to be able to have. Some tools. You're going to have access to a portal where you can get a wealth of biblical information to run your business, and it is, I will have to tell you, it is a monthly dues that you would have to pay. $65 is the monthly dues. I'm sorry, $70 is the monthly dues, but what you get is absolutely amazing, absolutely astounding. What you get is just, and that $70 doesn't go to me. It just keeps what they call a round table in. It just keeps it going. Yes, I will have to fit a bill of $250 a month. And so, but they advise that we have membership dues. It's kind of like a networking group for Christian businesses. So I see all you say, yes, please. Yes, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm telling you, it is so, just the stuff that I got, the sample stuff, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where has this been at? Like, where has this been at? No, Sam, it's not like co-labor. It is more, I would say more tense, I'll just say if you are a chapter president, they require you to have 4 hours a month in a roundtable, 4 hours a month. So you're meeting. So for example, if I was a chapter president, I will meet with you all. Say for example, you all lived in our city. I know Milton lives in out in Indiana, but if you all were living in our city, like some of you do, you'll meet with me at a round table. That's what they call them, round tables, and you'll be there for 4 hours. But the way they have a structure is absolutely blows my marbles. It is so good. It is absolutely just good. Word after word after word. It's some stuff that I didn't even know that I'm really excited about for my own self. And And there's something that we will add value to in our church. But we're going to be able to do it virtually. So they told me we can do it virtually. So it's going to be really good. So if you want to know more, and I know some of you say you want more, and it will be a membership fee. And we'll be launching that out here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So just stay tuned for that. Well, my friends, I appreciate you so much. Hopefully you can see my new office. I haven't got anything up, and it's on the 16th floor. I'm all up here all by myself, so I got to get out of this building by myself because I want nobody knocking inside my head. A little nervous. I'm just giving you a hard time. The security man downstairs. So, but I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being faithful, staying tuned, and you guys, man, I just pray for you and just encourage you and be better men, better leaders, and better husbands. And so God bless you. Have a peaceful night, restful night, and remember, be intentional about growing yourself. All right, take care. God bless.